Football is literally a game of hard knocks. The body can take an awful beating, and there is a breaking point.
And when it comes to head injuries, that point differs with each individual, and long-term effects can't be predicted. The majority of head injuries reported in youth athletics each year happen on the football field. And
with that in mind, Fox 10 News reporter Hal Sherrick set out to see what measures are in place to protect your child during the game and afterwards. Here's what he found in a Fox 10 News special report, Blocking Brain Injury.
Bright lights, marching bands, and the roar of the crowd as the team takes the field. It's as old a Southern tradition as the game itself. The modern-day high school athlete certainly looks the part. Bigger, faster, and stronger than players just a few decades ago.
Nobody was a 4'4" guy and weighed 230 or 40 pounds and could bench 400 pounds or whatever. There wasn't any of those people around.
UMS Wright Bulldogs head coach Terry Curtis has seen the evolution. With those traits comes a higher risk of injury. One of the most dangerous injuries can be to the head. Football-related concussions have been getting a lot of attention for several years. What started at the professional level has now made its way into the prep game.
An official timeout as we have a player down on the field.
And it's coming right down this past year in high school football. We had a targeting rule put in for the first time in high school, which is very big, and it needs to be called.
Injuries still happen, and teams are taking precautions to keep your child safe, starting with the equipment. Helmets have to meet federal standards for impact resistance and have to be recertified every 2 years. But schools I talk to have their helmets recertified annually at a cost of $40 per helmet. Williamson Lions head coach Dedrick Sumter says the Mobile County School Board helps with their recertification cost every year.
There's money that's been given, to each school in Mobile County, and as far as getting the proper equipment every year, and I think I do a good job of doing that to make sure that my kids are properly equipped.
In our climate, there's screws that are rusty, there's boats that are rusty, face masks get scarred up, and so everything that we have is no older than a year old, either being a new helmet or a helmet that's been recertified.
In 2011, Governor Robert Bentley signed a law requiring all athletes and their parents to sign a concussion and head injury information sheet each year. Coaches to get annual training on how to recognize the symptoms of a concussion, and that an athlete suspected of receiving a concussion be taken out of play and not allowed to return without written clearance from a doctor. According to the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Alabama ranks third in the nation for concussion safety since the requirements have been put in place. Because awareness is up, more cases are being seen that may not have been looked at in years past, and the game itself offers more opportunities for injury.
When I first started coaching offensively, you were happy to run 35 to 40 plays. Now, I think we ran 67 plays the other night. So it's going to increase the chances of, some of these games are really twice the number of plays that maybe I played in. Right. And so now one game equals 2 games, which gives you a higher rate of chance of a hit in the head.
Some schools are doing more than others where it comes to player safety. Both Daphne and UMS Wright put their athletes through what's called impact testing, where each individual's brain is put through a baseline test. In case of a concussion, this gives healthcare professionals a clearer picture on when that individual is back to their normal self. This prevents a player from being put back into the game before the brain is fully healed. It can also show that a player is ready for action sooner than you would think.
You'd be amazed most of the times that we've had one who's had the symptoms and we've baseline tested them. It's worked in our favor.
There is a cost for the baseline testing, but the good news is the schools are able to do the tests themselves. So what happens to the brain to cause a concussion, and what signs should you look for? Tonight on Fox 10 News at 9, we'll take a look at that and talk to a neurosurgeon who is on the forefront of sports brain injury right here in Mobile. You'll be surprised to hear what he has to say about youth football. We'll also hear more from our coaches. They'll reflect on the game that was and how it's changed. They think there are many more changes to come. Don't miss part 2 of Blocking Brain Injury tonight at 9.